Hello guys, this is Amy Koehler from Dakota College at Bottineau. Coming to you to the addition to our Green Thursdays with our weekly recorded video this week in May, bringing more information to everybody about our different programs we have here at Dakota College at Bottineau, especially revolving around our horticulture and agriculture programs. And so today I'm going to be talking to you guys about our horticulture program. So in our very first video, I briefly went over how our horticulture program has kind of been restructured, and I'll be being applied this next fall 2020 semester. So originally in the horticulture department, we had 4 separate programs where students could get an Applied Associate of Science or a certificate. And that was Floral Design and Greenhouse Technology, Aquaponics Production and Management, Specialty Crop Production, and there was Landscape Design and Management as well, but that program has, as of this last spring, was discontinued due to some low enrollments and some other issues. But besides that point, during this last spring, us in the horticulture department have decided to kind of change things up a little bit and make our program more efficient and a little bit easier for students to evolve their college career and their college classes directly into what they think or they believe they would need to get out into the real world, and what they're in kind of evolve it around their interests and where they would like to eventually end up in their careers. Because our past programs were a little stringent. There were a lot of different credit hours that need to be put in, especially in the horticulture program, and it didn't leave a lot of room in each semester for students to maybe try out other areas in the horticulture department to take. Say if you were in the Floral Design and Greenhouse Technology program, you wouldn't have enough room in your schedule if you were interested to maybe take a hemp production class, or if you were interested in aquaponics, take a aquaponics practicum and fit that all into your schedule. And we didn't really like that, because the great thing about the horticulture industry is it's a really involved industry, and it's very diverse, and every job is different and plays on a lot of different factors. You can work in a greenhouse technology or in a greenhouse setting and still do floral design aspects and still have some aquaponics or hydroponic aspects and specialty crop production. And it really comes down to where our paths as horticultural individuals, it comes down to where we'd like to go and where life takes us. And again, as students, and you don't always know where it's going to take you. I can tell you right now, me personally, I originally started in plant biology and agriculture and more on the ecology side of things, and eventually now I'm here in horticulture and with specialty crop production. So things do change, and I know a lot of different people in the horticulture industry are not doing the same job they did right out of college. But so we're hoping that by allowing students to be able to better choose and follow their interests and try to find their strengths and still provide them with a strong, sound education in horticulture, so that no matter where they go into the industry, they have those basic introductory skill sets that they will need to make them more, more hireable and more appealing to future employers. We kind of came up with this new horticulture program. So instead of having 3 separate horticulture programs, we condensed everything down to an Applied Associate of Science or a certificate in horticulture. So it's just general horticulture. So remember, Applied Associate of Science would be taking your your electives, so your general education electives, so your math, your sciences, along with your horticulture and those career tech and hands-on classes as well. So it's a 2-year program, 4 semesters, whereas the certificate is only 2 semesters. It's a 1-year program, and for students who aren't looking to get, the gen eds or maybe transfer, or they're not really looking at those science and technology and social science classes. They just want to get that hands-on experience and get into the work field as quickly as possible. That might be the better route for them. So again, it's one horticulture program as a 1 or 2 year program. And then within the program, students then have a choice to choose a focus area. As you can see here on this document, this is kind of like our good overview of the whole program as it is now. So to have, so if a student graduated with an Applied Social Science certificate from Dakota College with this new setup, they would have a degree of Applied Social Science in horticulture, and then they have the option to choose a focus area. And for that focus area to be listed on their diploma and their records and their transcripts, they will have to, out of the 16 electives we've built into the curriculum, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, 10 of those electives have to be within one of these focus areas. And I'll go through some of the courses that we've grouped together to fit each one of these focus areas. So even though a student picks a focus area, and a student doesn't have to pick a focus area, of course, they could just do a general horticulture degree and do a little bit of everything. That is totally up to them. But if they do decide to choose a focus area, they still have 6 electives where they can take some more business classes, or take maybe a hemp production class, or an ag class, or we've built that in, so they still, even with the focus areas, they still have some room to try out some other different aspects of horticulture or business or career tech in general as well. So as you can see here, we have our 4 focus areas. So the first focus area would be greenhouse technology, and this is more for preparing students for the green industry. Students will learn a lot of skills working in the greenhouse industries, and that can be greenhouse production and management, landscape plant management, plant identification and culture, insects and disease, anything really to do with greenhouse, the business, the marketing, the management, the sales and retailing as well, either being wholesale or direct to consumer. The courses we've built within this curriculum all kind of hit all those different aspects of the greenhouse technology industry within the horticulture program. The next focus area would be aquaponics production and management. It's very similar to what the aquaponics production and management of the old Applied Social Science degree was, or certificate. But this is where students are going to be learning about aquaculture production with freshwater and aquatic plants, and then the hydroponic side of things. There is some greenhouse technology in there and controlled systems technology in there as well, along with those business skills and those marketing skills, and also management and soft people skills as well, that are going to help these individuals either go work for themselves and start their own business as entrepreneurs, or to go work for other industries at a management or supervisorial level in the aquaponics and hydroponics industries of horticulture. And then we have specialty crop production. That's one of our other focus areas, and that's more of a hands-on learning on that production. Remember, specialty crops are any type of pretty much vegetable and fruit that's our food crop that isn't a commodity, so it wouldn't be corn. Anything, besides a few specialty grains, it's your fruits and vegetables of the world. As long as it's those students are going to be learning about production of these food crops, how they're grown, so a little bit of soil science, how to add to that sustainable food supply, but they're also going to learn about management, pest control, marketing of the specialty crops, and some of those other aspects. So a student would be prepared to start out their own career and run either their own small farm or business, or to go work for somewhere in the specialty crop production industry. And then last but not least is our floral design focus, and this is really focusing students that are interested in going to the floral industry and hoping to gain skills, in how to actual application of floral design, as long with handling, identifying the materials, how to run a business, some of the management and marketing and operation of floral retail. They'll learn all those different skills within the course curriculum that we've built into the floral design focus area. So before I get into a little bit more about the focus areas and the curriculum we've built for each one, I want to just go over the general curriculum we have for the horticulture program. So as you can see here, first is our Applied Associate of Science. So even though students have 16 electives, in which 10 of them for each focus area they would choose, there are some courses, no matter which focus area the students choose, if they're in the horticulture program, will be required to take, because we believe these are the basis classes that no matter which part of the industry they may go to or end up in, they really should have this background, hands-on knowledge, and also theory to help them prepare themselves as future employees or entrepreneurs or anything along those lines. So the first one would be, so first in the fall semester, you can see here, students will be taking Hort Science. Horticulture science, it's a great general introduction to all the different parts and industries of horticulture, and agriculture and especially crop production. All of that's covered. It's great, and there's also a great hands-on lab that's built into that course to kind of give students their very first hands-on experience in the greenhouse here at Dakota College. And then really the rest of that semester, we really want to let students to work and try to get as many of their general education electives out of the way. So they'll have more time in like the spring and future fall semesters to be doing the hands-on career tech horticulture classes. So we have leadership of service. We really believe that leadership is a very important part of any part of the horticulture industry. If you're working for someone or working for yourself, of course. The first year experience they come in, so all our math and electives is built in. It's not written in stone, of course, but we feel if students are able to follow this curriculum, they'll be able to graduate on time and really get the classes that they need. Another course that students by that next spring of their first semester that we really suggest that they take and is a required part of the curriculum is the Introduction to Agricultural Business, where they'll learn about, because remember, horticulture is part of the umbrella of agriculture. So it's going to be a really great way of taking a good business, sound basic skills in the agricultural world and how business works in the agricultural world. Then we have our greenhouse operations. There's very little part of the horticulture industry where you won't have some type of experience or where you'll have to work with a greenhouse, be it a high tunnel, a traditional greenhouse, a seedling start. Almost every industry at some point or another is related or will be working with a greenhouse. We think it's really important that students take greenhouse operations where they learn about the management, design, and some of the business skills in running and operating a greenhouse and some of the science behind it as well. Such things as media mixtures and irrigation and fertigation, different tools that are used in the greenhouse industry and things like that. All very important. And then this is when the spring semesters when students really start collecting their electives, and those our PLSC electives are those horticulture classes that we would ask that they would, if they choose a focus area, they would start taking those courses there in the spring semester. And then following that next fall, that's when things really start getting, majority of the students' classes will be those horticulture and agriculture-based classes. So the first semester, the second year, we have the world food crops that we require students to take, introduction to soil science. We know there are parts of the horticulture industry where you don't actually interact with soil, but the science behind it of the soil health and how plants utilize and interact with soil and the nutrients and minerals they need really is a great basis that no matter where you go into the industry, you really should have that background and understand how that introduction and how soil works with plants in general, because it's the same thing with medias and things like that. And then we have our intro to plant and pest. This is a great introduction just to general plant biology and also plant pest biology, disease, insects, and things like that, and how they all interact. So great, instead of our students taking an entomology class and a plant biology class and maybe a plant pathology class, this is a great overview just to give the students enough basics and enough background that when they go out into the real world, they can make those connections they need for pest management and plant management and disease and plant health as well. And then again, we have some more electives built in. And then of course we also have built into the curriculum. Students have the option to either take, it'll be all in all at 6 credits, but it can be anywhere between taking a co-op ed class, which would be more like an internship where the student would find somewhere within the greenhouse or the horticulture industry to work either a summer job or a spring job internship where they get that hands-on experience through that, or through our horticulture practicums where the students will spend 3 hours a week to 6 hours a week to 4 hours a week working in our greenhouse here on campus and learning everything from hydroponics to aquaponics, especially crop production. It's definitely a course where students get some experience in a little bit of everything, but depending on the student's focus, if the student wants to focus in aquaponics, of course, the majority of their time will help them work and get that hands-on experience in aquaponics. If their focus area, especially crop production, that's where they might spend the majority of their time versus greenhouse technology or floral design. But within that practicum, they're still going to get hands-on experience in the other aspects of outside of their focus area as well. Because again, in the horticulture industry, things tend to don't want to say go as planned, but there's a lot of different parts of the industry that involve different elements. Like I said, work in the greenhouse industry, you might still have need to have some experience in specialty crop production or floral design or aquaponics or hydroponics. So it's just really important that students get an all-around background as well as their focus areas. And then going on to their final spring semester, of course, plant propagation. Really important part. I mean, if you're working in the horticulture industry, you should know how to propagate plants, starting things from seedlings, different ways of propagation, cuttings versus versus grafting versus seed propagation. All of that is something, no matter where you go in the horticulture industry, you really should have a decent background in and experience in as well. We do have built in some type of business elective into the curriculum, because even if you're working for yourself as an entrepreneur or going to work for somebody else, horticulture is a business industry. You're growing something to sell. You are creating a service, or you're creating a product. And so having a business background, just like with any career, technical education career, is very important. And we feel like just having some of that general business background or business management or something along those lines is really important for our students. And yeah, so there you go. And then again, there's built in those 6 electives that students can choose to take any one of. It could be any kind of course. It doesn't exactly have to be in the horticulture agricultural industry. It could be, more business classes, accounting classes, math classes. Maybe you like some fish and wildlife or forestry classes because students are really interested in going that part of landscaping. But those are where the 606 electives really, all the students, if they find an area they're interested in or they'd like to have more background knowledge in before they go out into the real working world, that's built into their curriculum. And then last but not least, then we have is our Horticulture Certificate. And that's pretty much students have a lot of leeway in what courses they take and how they create their curriculum. It's the same idea where if they would like a focus area on their certificate out of those 16 electives between their general electives and PLSC electives, 10 of them need to be within their focus area. But the only required classes they would have to take outside of that would be, of course, hort science is the general basis to pretty much horticulture in general. And then they would have to take a hort practicum as well as doing co-op education as well. So they would have to do the internship as well as doing the practicum here on campus in the greenhouse. And then again, this is a curriculum that can be done in 1 year, 2 semesters. So it's always really exciting, and it's really built for those students who just want to get that hands-on learning experience and get out into the working world as soon as possible. All right. Awesome. So that, in a nutshell, is our new horticulture program. Again, we're really excited about this. This coming fall, 2020, will be the first year that we'll be applying this new program. The other programs, are now have been retired. Besides the few students who are still remaining in them, they'll have the choice to switch over to the horticulture program, the new one, or finish out their academic career in the one they originally applied for. But any new students enrolling that have enrolled for this fall 2020 will be enrolled into this horticulture program, where myself, Amy Koehler, or Keith Knutson would be their advisors working with these. And it's going to be a lot of all these electives. It's not, the students don't have to worry about having to make all these decisions, because us as your advisors I'll sit down with you, or Keith will sit down with you, and we'll talk about what your goals are, your future thoughts or patterns, and we'll work to create a curriculum that works for you. And that's why we're so excited about the new horticulture program. So last but not least, before I leave you guys today, I'm going to share with you just give you a little idea of what the courses that we've grouped together for our different focus areas. So let me just stop this recording here and I'll start sharing. Here we go, our master horticulture focus area. Let's see if it'll show. There we go. All right. So here are your core classes right here. So all those courses that I talked about before that we believe everyone, no matter which focus area you're in, should be able to take, those are those ones listed right here. So you have remember that intro to ag business, the business and elective, our intro to plants and pests, greenhouse operations, world food crops, hort science, all of these, no matter which focus area you take, you choose, or no focus area, just a general hort degree, you will be required to take these classes to graduate. And then, of course, if you're doing the Applied Associates of Science, so most of this is for the Applied Associate Science. Again, if you're doing the certificate, the only one you'd be required to take would be these 3 here. But if you're doing the Applied Associate Science, then here would be your required courses as well for your general education requirements, of course, and those are built into the curriculum that we just looked at. But here comes the fun part. So this is our different focus areas. So again, these focus areas will have anywhere from 10 credits or more. So if the focus area has more than 10 credits, doesn't mean you need to take every course in that focus area. We just, out of your 16 electives, we ask that at least 10 of them come out of that focus area. If you want to use all 16, if a student wants to use all 16 of their electives within that focus area, that's awesome. But again, we really want the students to have a way to build and create their own course program to what their final goals are when they leave here from DCB. So our greenhouse technology, some of the courses we have listed in that focus area be foliage, plant ID, and cactus and succulent plant ID. Both courses are learning how to identify, propagate, design, market, retail, pretty much house plants, and then your cactus and succulents. They're a big part of the house plant industry. Plants that you usually are selling to in retail or wholesale to be utilized indoors and maybe a little bit outdoors. These are sometimes called the ornament. These would be the house plants or something along those lines. Cool side note with the cactus and succulent class, we work really, really closely hand in hand with the International Peace Gardens with their very large cactus and succulent collection. So a lot of that class is spent at the International Peace Gardens working with their cactus succulent collection. Is probably one of the most diverse collections in the country, if not the world. They have over 4,000 different species of cactus and succulents to learn to work with, so that's really exciting. And then we have our introduction to hydroponics, because hydroponics is becoming a really big part of the greenhouse industry. And again, if you're not familiar, hydroponics is growing plants in a soilless system, so in some type of water system. So that's always really exciting. That's an online class. Then we have our residential landscape design class. That is a class, it's one of our few actual landscaping classes where students learn about some really general landscaping techniques and marketing and design and things like that. It's an hands-on in-person class here at DCB. It's offered every fall. Our turf management course, which is now which will be offered online. Our herbaceous landscape plants, where students will learn how to identify and learn the cultural information of different herbaceous landscape and ornamental plants that are used in the landscape and in horticulture industries. And then also learn some different design aspects for residential landscaping as well with those herbaceous landscape plants. And then we have garden planning, which is a kind of a mixed course of planning for small food production gardens, and then also ornamental gardens, and then along the lines there is a lot of permaculture aspects in that course as well. Okay, and we'll move on to the aquaponics production focus area. We have our introduction of aquaponics and our production aquaponics, which are both online. And then we have our aquaponics practicums, which are actually the horticulture practicums. So all our practicums will be it's our horticulture practicums 1, 2, and 3. But within those horticulture practicums, the students will learn a lot more about aquaponics in that course. And then we have our aquaponics management 1 and 2 course that students will be required to take as well. All right, let's keep going. And then specialty crop production, that's one of our other focus areas. We have integrated pest management, specialty food crops, specialty crop farming, high tunnel production, good agricultural practices, that's their GAP practices that you would be learning about, specialty crop marketing, and then again those practicums which go with the aquaponics horticulture practicums as well, and then our special topics, local foods, which is an online course where students learn about different food systems at different levels within society. And then last but not least is our floral design focus area. And that's where students will be taking floral design 1 and 2, where they learn about the floral design aspects and materials that are used in floral design. And then the floral retail and management course, which is also offered online. Is offered online. That students are learning about the history and retailing of floral shops and floral retail, and then management, like business planning and marketing and different aspects of that in the floral shop and floral retail industry. And that is our 4 focus areas. So we also have other courses that students are more than welcome to take as their electives that we, depending on what they're looking for. Of course, we have our different hemp courses and forestry courses as well. That we, depending on what the students are looking to go into, there's always an option for them to utilize as their electives. So I guess that's just kind of giving you guys that overall understanding and background to what's going on with the new horticulture program. Again, almost all of our courses have a lot of great hands-on, has a great hands-on element, and so I'm really excited to share this with our new students. And of course, if you ever have any questions about our horticulture program, you can always contact me, Amy Koehler, at Dakota College at Bottineau on our DCB Horticulture page, or also on dakotacollege.edu. We have our page there as well, or you can just email me at amy.koehler@dakotacollege.edu. That is my email, or you can give me a call at 701-228-5605 if you have any questions about the horticulture program or any of the courses that we offer here at Dakota College. That all being said, I'm going to let you guys go, and hopefully everyone will join us tomorrow, Thursday, with our last live course. We'll work with April Dylander, and we're going to do learn more about the high title production and some of the other things we have going on the DCB farm. So bye guys, I'll see you guys hopefully soon.